The sanctuary at Shiloh was meant to be a place of worship, reverence, and sacrifice. Families traveled long distances to present offerings before the Lord, seeking His blessing and forgiveness. Yet behind the sacred curtains of the tabernacle, a dark corruption had taken root. Eli, the high priest of Israel, was old and respected among the people. But his two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, who served as priests under him, had no regard for the Lord. The Bible describes them with a chilling statement: they were wicked men who did not know the Lord. Although they wore priestly garments and performed religious duties, their hearts were far from God. Instead of honoring the Lord, they used their position for personal gain. Whenever Israelites brought sacrifices to God, the meat was first to be offered according to God's instructions. Only afterward could the priests receive the portion God had assigned to them. But Hophni and Phinehas ignored these commands. As families worshipped, the servants of Eli's sons would arrive carrying large forks with 3 prongs. They would thrust the forks into the cooking pots and take whatever meat came up for themselves. This was already against the spirit of God's law, but their greed went even further. Before the fat of the sacrifice was burned to the Lord, a sacred act reserved for God alone, the servants would demand raw meat from the worshippers. If a man protested and said, "Let the fat first be burned as the law requires, then take whatever you want," the servants would threaten him. "Give it now," they would say. "If you don't, we will take it by force." The people came to worship God, but instead they encountered intimidation, greed, and corruption. Because of this, the sin of Eli's sons became exceedingly great in the sight of the Lord. They treated God's offerings with contempt and caused many Israelites to despise the worship of God. Yet amid this darkness, a small light was growing. Young Samuel continued to minister before the Lord. While corrupt priests abused their authority, Samuel faithfully served in the tabernacle. Year after year, he grew in obedience and devotion. His mother Hannah had kept her vow. After dedicating Samuel to the Lord, she returned home to Ramah, but she never forgot her son. Each year, when she came to Shiloh for the annual sacrifice, she brought Samuel a small robe she had carefully made with her own hands. One can imagine Hannah spending months weaving and sewing the garment, knowing her little boy was growing. Every year she would see how much taller he had become. Every year she would place the new robe upon his shoulders. And every year she would be reminded that the son she once wept and prayed for now belonged to the Lord. Eli blessed Elkanah and Hannah whenever they visited, and they had more children. Meanwhile, Samuel continued growing up in the presence of God. But troubling reports about Eli's sons kept spreading throughout Israel. The old priest eventually heard what Hophni and Phinehas were doing. Not only were they stealing from God's sacrifices, but they were also committing immoral acts with women who served at the entrance of the tabernacle. The very place meant for holiness had become polluted by their sin. Eli confronted his sons. "My sons," he pleaded, "why do you do such things? I hear terrible reports from all the Lord's people." He warned them that sinning against another person was serious, but sinning directly against God was even more dangerous. Yet Hophni and Phinehas refused to listen. Their hearts had become hardened. They ignored both their father's warning and the conviction of God. While Eli's sons continued their rebellion, Samuel continued growing. The contrast could not have been greater. One set of young men dishonored God while wearing priestly robes. Another young boy honored God humbly and with obedience. Then one day, a man of God came with a message from heaven. Standing before Eli, he reminded him of God's kindness toward his family. God had chosen the house of Aaron to serve as priests. God had allowed them to offer sacrifices and minister before him. Yet Eli's family had dishonored those blessings. The prophet delivered a frightening judgment. Because Eli honored his sons more than he honored God, disaster would come upon his household. The strength and influence of Eli's family would be cut off. Future generations of his descendants would not enjoy long lives. His family line would lose the privilege of serving as priests. As a sign that this prophecy was true, both Hophni and Phinehas would die on the same day. But God also gave a glimpse of hope. He declared that he would one day raise up a faithful priest who would serve him with integrity and walk according to his heart. While the corrupt priesthood of Eli's sons would fall, God's purposes would continue. The chapter closes with a solemn warning. The privileges God gives are never a substitute for obedience. Religious titles cannot hide a rebellious heart. God sees beyond appearances. He rejects those who dishonor him, but he honors those who honor him. And as the house of Eli moved toward judgment, young Samuel continued growing quietly in God's presence, the faithful servant whom God was preparing to lead Israel into a new chapter of history.
Did you enjoy the story? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This motivates us to create more Bible-inspired stories to share with you. God bless you.